interesting morning. First I looked out the window and I thought I saw wet pavement over by Rittenhouse Square, right around the shoulder. They could be sprinkling the lawn there anyway. Also, it's like 44 degrees, which is technically mild. So I changed up my outfit that I wear every day, and I'm just wearing leggings and a couple like spring coats. It's hard to explain, like shell of coats. But more exciting, I got an email saying there was a deposit into my account. It's not that big, but I was like, where was... Then I worried because I deposited a check from a client, and I was like, it's supposed to be more than that, you know, like a lot more than that. And I was like, I wonder if it read it wrong, because sometimes checks read wrong. But anyway, turns out, get this, someone purchased a book of mine off of BookBaby, and it released an amount that's been sitting there for like 6 or 7 years. I'm so not kidding. I'm so happy because you have to have at least $10 in your balance of BookBaby, and if it's under $10 they won't release the money. So it's just sitting there, and I called a couple times. I was like, after so many years, can't they just release the money? You know, like it's to have like just $8 sitting there, or you know, $9.99 or whatever it was. Like, can't they just, right, even 1 cent, you know, beneath. So anyway, they never released it, and I didn't feel like arguing. I was just like, you know, eventually, you know, it'll work out or whatever. Well, sure enough, someone bought the book, and it must have been Duplicity and Duress Snap Factories in the making, because the amount that was deposited into my account is like double what it was before. Or it was like $8 that was still in there, I forget. So either someone bought 1 or 2 books. Some of the books are, you know, I have a couple things that are only like $2 in there because they're small, but or like there's $9.99 plus like $4.99 or $5.99 for another book. So if you get a chance, please like, share, and subscribe, and why not, you know, partake of my book, Duplicity and Duress Snap Factories in the Making by Erin Vans is my pseudonym that I used for the book, just because at the time I was worried about writing the book. You know, I call it fiction based on true events to protect the innocent, if you will. And, you know, I wrote it in such a way that it's, you know, not, it's journalistic style, but not totally, like, it's not chronologically perfect, or I mix up things, I change names and everything. But in a way it was, you know, the pen is mightier than the sword, they say, or the pen is mightier than, you know, the court system or whatever. So it was therapeutic-ish to write that book. I got an MFA, and someone there said, you should totally write like, just piece it out like the first 7 days of whatever happens. It sounds like the first week or so was quite the maelstrom, you know, quite the confluence of energies, quite the perfect storm or what have you. And maybe write just about that, just to sort of get the ball rolling and get it out there and stuff like that. So Duplicity and Duress Snap Factories in the Making. Thank you so much to whomever purchased it. It was probably purchased last week because they release checks on the Friday of every week that stuff comes in. So within the past week or 2 weeks, someone must have purchased 1 or 2 books. I can't always tell. I can tell when someone purchases a book. It's not that big a deal, but I can't tell who, you know. I know when I was in Florida, a friend of mine named Dale, he purchased every single one. And I was like so grateful, you know, it only amounts to, you know, between $20 and $30 if you buy every single book. But anyway, I was like, oh my gosh, somebody actually, you know, besides, you know, the parental figures and a couple dog walking clients from the past who were willing, you know, I'll have to go on BookBaby and see which ones. It'll tell me on there which books were purchased or what, you know. I didn't go in this morning because I haven't been logged in for a long time because, you know, it's sort of one of those things. So thank you. I really appreciate it. for $9.99. You know, it really is a good read. I know a lot of people say that. I actually am a skilled writer. I actually made a living for quite some time writing and honing a skill, reading tons of New York Times and the New Yorker in order to sort of develop a certain style or to be more sophisticated. Of course, the MFA helped with that because of the classes that I took. They brought up all these different types of styles that famous authors, sophisticated, respected academic authors used in the past. So I'm all excited, thank you. And big shout out to whomever it was. So I really appreciate it. Hey, so here we are super early on a Tuesday morning before the Super Bowl. And I thought I would come out and see the similar streets as I walked last night at the wee hours of the morning. It's like 6 a.m.-ish, but I think it's pretty busy for 6 a.m. Wow, all the cars down there. I think it's pretty busy for 6 a.m. So I'll sort of go this way and Fly Eagles Fly banner up there on the Wells Fargo 123 South Broad. So 123 is up. So there you go. They got the up motion. So we're all psyched. Take a left. We want the same. Okay. So 123 is up. The only thing that cancels it out is South Broad or going south, E Broad, or we don't want to get into how badly people read things in a city. So we'll just keep going. So I wanted to go by 1312 Walnut again to see the Grace Kelly, just because I'm so early in the morning and I'm wondering if the same woman would come out. Yesterday I came by here twice, once in a normal time during the morning and then in the evening, and the same woman came out as if she were staged or orchestrated, or someone was handling people a certain way. I don't know if she would know specifically that I would have been standing there looking at the Grace Kelly image, or if she felt compelled to leave at the same exact times and we were on the paths. But people can be handled, they can be puppeted, and she may not even realize that she was used for someone's show, invisible show, by high level. Sorry, thanks. Sorry. I'm here on Sansom walking east. I just passed Broad Street and Juniper, and we're headed towards 13th. So it would be 14th is Broad Street, then Juniper, and we're going backwards. So we're going to 13th. East is backwards, west is forward. That's a metaphor for life, right? Someone I was sort of talking to last night, and she's like, you know what, every single apartment was lit up last night in this one, and they aren't usually, and it's like they have to bring people in for the Super Bowl. This city has to have a show for the whole week leading up to the Super Bowl, and by show we mean, a show of power or a show of support. People might